I think it's great for an old guy at 71 to come back and see Mater Dei First still exists, and they still do Christmas at the corner. Unbelievable. Well, we used to be at the Bren Center doing a little Christmas event at Bren Center, and we decided to kind of look in a different direction because everybody was so far away from what the action was with the kids and everything. And we wanted to put a little religious fervor to it and bring people back to Mater Dei. So I was sitting in some admin meeting and I said, why don't we bring it back to Mater Dei and call it Christmas at the Corner? So one of the great ideas that I had, was probably the only idea I had, I said, you know, when you're in winter time and you want to warm your hands, let's use the old metal trash cans at Mater Dei, and I'll weld up some little racks and put on a Presto log, and people can warm themselves by the fire where they had hot wassail and a cookie. I didn't know what wassail was. But anyway, so it sounded like a great idea at the time, so we lit them all up, and somebody decided the fire was too big, so they got a fire extinguisher, put out the fire, and a big puff of white smoke went up, and somebody thought on the street on Edinger that Mater Dei was on fire. So they called the Santa Ana Fire Department, and they came to put out the fire at Mater Dei, and all it was a trash can. But I think really the beauty of it was just taking the idea and making it happen, and then using people's creativity to kind of kick it up a notch every year. That 30 years ago, I had a different color hair, and I couldn't play Santa because I wasn't big enough. Now, I could play Santa. You know, my belly's big enough now. Kids are always fascinated by mystery, and especially when we'd have the little kids, we'd kind of get them to focus as it got dark. We'd turn the spotlight on the manger scene. Of course, it was empty, and there would be the procession of the different people, Mary and Joseph, and then the wise men would come. But the last one to show up was Santa. And so that would all kind of come about. Now, I don't think Santa was in the original infancy narratives in the Gospel of Matthew, but we just added a few elements to it to kind of kick it up a notch. But it was always kind of the dramatic moment, which then, with all the dancing and singing and hot wassail and popcorn, you know, it comes down to really welcoming the Christ into the Christmas moment. So I grew up in Santa Ana, and there wasn't much. There was a little A&W here. It was part of our property that we used to jump the fence when the deans weren't looking and go over and get a root beer float or a hamburger. But yeah, this was kind of the south end of Santa Ana. There wasn't a whole lot here. A lot of fields and farms. Well, I hope to be around when we get to the 100th. I hope. That may or may not be true, but you know, Mater Dei's always kind of had, you know, some ups and downs, but I think the graph shows that it's still continuing to grow and develop and become better. But it's really about what are the opportunities given to the students who are here. And I think, you know, the best promoting of Mater Dei is from other students and other parents who have had a good experience.